Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, of course, Mental Heal. Listen, I appreciate all the support over the years, whether it was for my book, man, Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planning guide for boys and men to better express themselves. So salute to those parents who got it for their young sons. Praises to those partners and couples who got it for the men in their life. Of course, to the schools, the administrative, and everybody else who ordering the book by the dozens. I definitely appreciate that. And also salute to everybody who supported me on Cheesy Date Board Games, which is a good game for adults and couples, your game night, your date night. So many interactive ideas come from it. I definitely love the responses that it's garnering. But now I'm asking for your support again on this YouTube journey. I'm back. I took a little break because I had so much going on, but be a little bit more consistent with it. I got a couple interviews lined up with prominent people and people doing phenomenal things within the community or within this mental health space or even different authors and things like that. So bear with me. Appreciate your support. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And the guest that I got coming up now is.
Hi, my name is Sam Futch. I'm the owner and lead instructor with TEP Protection Services. I use TEP for short. Um, what we do is we teach firearms to law enforcement and civilians. We teach CPR, first aid. We teach emergency casualty care, which is similar like a TACMED for law enforcement, but we do have a civilian version as well. We call that Stop the Bleed. It's a national known program that's out and about. We use that and it covers tourniquets, chest seals, and stuff like that. Um, we also teach basic tactics, basic to advanced tactics. We teach active shooter survival, which is a course I'm putting on now when I get to Memphis. It is active shooter survival. The survival is for the civilians, and then there's an active shooter response, which is for your law enforcement personnel, whether it's security or if it's the police. So our whole concept is total life preservation training. So we teach you on both ends, teach you how to save life, also how to protect yourself using firearms if needed.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. And I was able to put my wife through your course and get her concealed permit a few
Yeah,
years ago. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, fortunate for that, man. You can never be too you can never have too many certified people with weapons, I should say, because of course weapons get in the wrong hands. Pretty much why I got you here, because I want to talk about this active shooter thing because it's so many of them happening throughout the country, and not only do I
Yes.
want to get educated, but I want the people to be educated from somebody who is a professional. So if you could, man, you just gave a breakdown of what the company do, but what is your professional journey? Like, what's your credibility? Because I'm sure people gonna ask, like, why should we listen to this guy?
Man, I came out of Memphis, Tennessee, man. Uh, came from the street straight out of Orange Mountain, and I got into law enforcement like my dad. Um, I did 9 years at West Memphis Police Department. 7.5 of those years I was on the SWAT team. Man, I've been trained by a bunch of, uh, I call them crazy. All the military cats, man, all your Delta guys, a couple of SEALs. And it became one of those things I was really passionate about, just learning how to maneuver and movement. I got a good understanding of it. And then I moved up to this Virginia area and I started working for the department. Well, then it was Department of Defense, now Department of War, where I created the team for that agency, man. And that team is still up and going now. Um, I was a sergeant of a team. I built a team, and then I was commander of that team. During that time, I got NRA firearm certifications. I'm certified through Federal Law Enforcement Training Academy for firearms, for tactics, for protective details. Let's see what else. I deployed to Afghanistan and Kabul. I ran the team over there, the PSD team. We was a drive team over there. I was over the QRF training, which is quick response force training, all the tactics for that, and the firearms training. So I've been around the block a few times. So I've been successful. I'm still here, so I must have did something right.
Yeah.
And during that time, I was also instructors over all of those different disciplines as well. And I have those through either federal side or I got it from the civilian side.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. And yes, you are still here, and you helped a lot of other people still be here as
Right,
well
right, right.
through your training. So I'm glad you was able to do that, man. So listen, for the people out there, whether it's a single mom living by herself or a couple who want to bring firearms in, like, why should one learn, I guess, weapons management, or do you suggest like they doing something else? Because of course I don't see anything wrong with owning a firearm as long as you're safe, you're educated on it and all those things. But is there any reservations in those things?
No, I don't see any reservation in it. Matter of fact, this conversation comes up a lot. Um, so I use my own. I got two boys and my daughter, and I took my boys to the range when they was 8 years old. And they constantly shoot me. I always want to go shoot, and they've shot everything from a handgun to the AR platform. My daughter's the same. I think I got her picture on my webpage holding the AR. So she shot the AR and she shoots handgun. But I say that because some people are afraid to teach their kids firearm safety, but they want to have a firearm in the house. And what they do is they hide the gun I mean, they put the gun up either so high or they really hide it that they can't get to it fast enough when something happens because they're afraid of what, their kids may get to it. And I understand the concern, but teaching your kids firearm safety, it takes that question out of their head because they understand. But you also got to look at it if you got teenagers that's there and now you're down. Now, your teenager has the ability to save your life if they had that training. But if you don't give them that training, then there's no one can save you. When I teach my classes, I teach the person that I'm training to save my life. Because if I go down, I need you to take the bad guy out. So when I'm teaching, I'm really passionate about it, and that's how I look at it. I think everyone needs to. If you can comprehend, then at an age, and like I said, I use my sons as 8. They comprehended what was going on. They understood it. It took the question out of their head. The whole, they're playing video games and thinking that, hey, all you got to do is press reset, game starts over. Well, once I explained them what firearms does and the good and the bads, and then actually took them to the range, they had a better understanding and they have a problem out of them anymore. They just want to go to range more and more so they can just shoot and get better. Like they say, I just want to be like you, Dad. I'm like, all right, well, we'll get you there. We'll get you there one day. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that I think everybody who can comprehend things should go through at its least a firearm safety class.
Yeah, I think that's definitely important, man. So, in the climate that we are in now, do you think it's an increase around policing, like the law enforcement background platform, like the stress levels appear to be at an all-time high based on those people who are protecting, serving, and the like. So, do you think it's stressful, impactful for those law enforcement officers today?
It is. But I also think that the stressors has already been there. It just hadn't been as bad, or just hadn't been shedding light on it till so the social media came around. So everybody has a camera or phone out there, and they're showing it. Well, it does have its negative effects because you have some new officers instead of them experiencing, talking to someone or encountering someone with a firearm, whether it's a friendly person or a person that's out to do harm. They looked at social media, and social media has put that type of mindset of everybody with a gun is dangerous, or if someone says, "Hey, I got a gun," they want to see it, or they want them to reach for it, they want them to get it for some reason, and I think social media has pretty much kind of ruined it. My days in policing, we were used to we learned that just because you got a firearm, that doesn't make you a threat right off the bat. It takes a little bit more, even though we prepare to respond. Uh, we never jumped the gun like that, and I see more of it now because of the older guys and not teaching the young guys, or the younger guys. What I mean by younger guys is the younger officers. They don't have the right mindset because social media has gave them the mindset about firearms. So, and then you have other people that with PTSD, that's getting on police forces that has trauma from way back when, and then it resurfaces once they encounter because your heart and your heart may say one thing, but your mind is going to make you do something else because all you got is what you remember. Uh, Sometimes the training is not there. Some of these small departments don't get enough training, or some of the bigger departments. As I've been, we go through training once a year at some of these departments, and it's just not enough because these guys are not getting reps in to build muscle memory. When that happens, I can teach you all day long today how to go through a door, but as soon as someone that's actually trying to do harm is on the other side of that door, your mind is going to do whatever it has, and it goes back to not what I taught you, not what I trained you. You just go back to your mind. So it takes reps, and the police officers are not getting those constant reps to make it muscle memory. And then their own stressors in their life overcomes it. I mean, you was military yourself. When I went over there and overseas, I had to come to terms with where I was. That's just what it is. And my family would get upset because they asked me, "Hey, did you think about us while you were there?" I'm like, "No, I couldn't, because if I thought about you while I was there, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on while I was there." Well, you got some people that just don't understand that. And when it happens, it just creates the whole thing. Oh, I can't die. I got a family. I got kids. I got a wife. I got a husband. I got this and I got that. And then it overwhelms them. So all of those life stresses of those officers is enough for them to make these knee-jerk reactions and make these mistakes that you're seeing. And it's not a lot. However, social media has brought it to light so much that it's making that 1% look like it's a blanket, rather, and now it's all cops, or the majority of cops, or something like that. Yeah. So I mean, the officers have their own stresses, but we have good ones. We got more good ones than we got bad ones.
I got you. It's just those good ones oftentimes don't speak up, man. So I'm glad you was able
Right.
to touch on not only the professional stressors, but the stressors of them actually having lives of their own. Now, what would you say for the people who are on the mindset of like more guns equal more problems, and so forth like that? Because there's some people who really do think that.
Right. Another conversation that happens a lot. I was like, take away the guns. I'm like, well, if you take away the guns that you can own and protect yourself, the bad guys don't follow those rules. All right. So you got to protect yourself. More guns doesn't equal more gun violence. I think it levels the playing field for the most part. Bad guys don't play by the rules. But as a gun owner, we have to be prepared for that encounter, whether it's at home or whether it's in the streets. You have to prepare for it. So, I mean, as long as you get a gun and you know what you're doing, meaning that you've been trained on it, you run through scenarios, you get additional training, because one time it's not going to solve your problem. And I've seen it a lot. I can teach a class, and we go back to the range 2 weeks later, and they forget everything they learned on the first day. And now we're starting over again. But I got patience because I understand. And I didn't come out the break shooting as good, or teaching like I did. It took time, but teaching so many people with different personalities and different characters, it helped me build a good program where when I teach you, it's understandable and you're able to retain as much as possible. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go be John Wick the next week, but you're gonna retain stuff because we're going to repetitively do it as much as we can within the time frame that we have. But yeah, I think gun ownership should be one of those key elements, because you have to protect yourself, you have to protect your family. You got a lot of ladies out here that feel like they're independent, and they're going to be single, but yet they're leaving themselves vulnerable. So I think I don't think more guns is what it is. I think more training. How about that? More training will
Yes.
probably solve that issue. More training.
Correct. And you make an interesting point too. Even if all the legal gun owners say, all right, cool, no more guns, the bad guys still don't care. They're still gonna have their guns. So
Right.
it's gonna be it's gonna be uneven either way, And if the bad guys are training or whether they're not training, they still have guns, which is an advantage. So no, I get
Right.
it, man. So the tough question is coming right now of why I got you here.
Okay.
Is these active shootings, man. It's so much
Yes.
going on surrounding active shootings. It seems to be more prevalent than it has been over the past decade or so. Like it used to be sprinkled in, like, all right, cool. You heard of a school shooting here or there, or somebody got fired and they, went back to the job. But now it seems to be increase more and more. So can you break down what an active shooter is, like that entire platform, I guess, surrounding what it is?
Well, an active shooter is pretty much just that. It is a person or persons. There's going to be more than one engaging in killing persons or multiple people or a multitude of people or a church or a concert. It's just that person that is actively shooting and killing or attempting to kill people, and it's ongoing. Sometimes it stops, but it doesn't stop because they're done shooting. They just stop because they're either waiting on law enforcement to show up or they're searching to try to find more people to kill. But that active shooter, man, it has become the new norm. And I said this a couple of years ago. It has literally become the new norm now. Back in a few years ago, when them active shooters first started, it was like, oh my God, an active shooter. Now it's like, oh, another one. You
Yeah.
know,
People are numb
and
to it. Like
yeah,
they,
it's like there's numb to it. But the
yeah.
problem is that yeah, I may be numb to it right now until it hits close to home. And what happened is that it's starting to hit these homes and no one is prepared for it. Because at first they'll see, oh, that happened in Minnesota. It had never happened to me. And then it happens in your area or it happens to someone that's close to you. Active shooter's not going to stop. It's going to just have its variances. And it's pretty much going to hit a lot of platforms that you would never thought. Who would ever thought a church would get shot up? You don't see that. And when you go to concerts back in the day, yeah, it's a shooting, but it ain't a mass shooting. It's one guy shooting at another guy. When it's not that anymore. Now you have these people with all these different ideologies. They got their own stressors. They're losing their jobs. They're losing money, losing their house, they're losing their family, and they just snap. And there's just nowhere to kind of narrow down, who the active shooters are because there's just so many varieties of them. And they're just different. You got some people that say, and I'm sure you had a lot of this, mental illness. Then you got some people that just have PTSD. And you got some people that just going through something bad and don't know how to come out of it. And this is their way because they're seeing all of this stuff like, oh, I want to go out like that. So let me go to this concert. Let me go to this movie theater. Let me go to this club. Let me shoot this club and then I'm gonna die by cop. People have those type of ideologies going on, and this is just the results of it. And it's just so many things that can create these active shooters. But hopefully we can get trained and get prepared, and that's what I'm here to do. Hopefully, if I can touch one or two people, right, and prepare them for something that they never thought would happen, I think everybody would feel good about it because now they have something to go on instead of just kind of winging it.
So for the people who are or have that fear or want to know what to do within an active shooting situation, I'm sure, outside of being trained by yourself or another entity, they probably got in our mindset, run, hide, fight, because that's
Right.
probably one of the common things that you hear. But any other suggestions that people not necessarily take this as law and then do what you say, but like, do you have any other suggestions in case people can benefit from hearing? Of course, it'll vary when you're in that situation because you can prepare and think about, plan all the time, but until it actually happens, of course, we don't want it to happen. But what would you suggest?
Man, I go back to like I teach my team like same way when I was running the SWAT team, same thing. You got to run scenarios and you got to prepare for it. So when I go to restaurants, I never sit with my back to the door. I walk in, I'm already looking for exits. All right, I'm walking the street. I always look around, see how many cars there. Where do I park? You know, listen to what's going on. You might hear arguments going on or something like that. You just don't know. Um, Look around, seeing people sitting there, like it's just a whole preparation of it, preparing for it. If an active shooter happens at church, I know where the exits are. If it happened at a restaurant, again, I know what the exits are, and I never have my back to a door. My firearms up to par, so at least I can sit at home and draw. A lot of people can't even get the gun out the holster when something happens because the adrenaline rush, and you lose those fine motor skills. So now I'm at home practicing on my draw. I'm practicing on my draw. Got to at least get the gun out. And some people can't. Even you have professional law enforcement officers that can't get their gun out fast enough. because stuff can happen so fast, and they're not training themselves to do it. So if you don't come take a class, at least get the run in your head. Where am I going to run to? Wherever I'm going. If I'm going to hide, where am I going to hide? Am I going to hide in the bathroom? Am I going to hide in the kitchen? Am I going to flip a table and hide at the table? Where am I going to hide? And then if I fight, what are my capabilities? What do I have around me? I always say there's never a fair fight. So if it's not bolted to the ground, I'm throwing it at you. So it's just those things that you can run through your head in all those scenarios. What would I do? Not just, looking at the run hot fight videos, not just coming to me or whomever you get your training from. It's like, what do you do to prepare yourself for when something happens? Before it happens, rather, I'm sorry. What do you do before it happens? So learn your tactics, pay attention, look at everything around you, and just become one with your surrounding. And that's something that we don't do. We don't prepare for it. We just sit there and just say, well, if something happens, I'll do this. Well, run the scenario and let's see what the outcome is. Now run the scenario with your child. Now run the scenario with your significant other. Now run the scenario with you and your boys out. Now run the scenario with you and your girls. Like, it's just constant. It never stops. But we get comfortable. And when things happen, now we're trying to figure out, now we're trying to respond, and now we're trying to react to it. And action beats reaction all day long. So the best thing you can do is run those scenarios through your head, continue to get training, uh, learn your weapon platform. Learn to get the weapon out. Dress around the gun. Don't put your dress on or your suit on or your short set on and then try to put a gun on it. Most of the time it's not going to work. When something happens, now your shirt is too long, you can't get it out. Or you got a dress on, now you got to dig in your purse to get the gun out your purse. Or the gun is too big to fit the purse. Like, it's just so many combinations of where things can go wrong. So my biggest thing is prepare for it. Before you walk out the house, prepare. Before you leave the house, prepare. Prepare to come back home. It's always preparation before you even get into hey, I'm going to react. This is what I'm going to do. But you got to prepare for it.
Yeah, got you, man. I definitely appreciate that. Any last minute tips that you can leave with the people who are thinking about purchasing a weapon? Hey, what kind of weapon should I get? What kind of like where can I go and practice? Like all those things. Any tips on that you can lead the people? I know you said you started your sons when they were 8 years old. What if it's a parent? Like when is the best time to introduce to my kid? Like all those things. What tips do you think people can benefit from?
I think I'll start with the adults. The biggest tip when it comes to adults purchasing firearms, uh, before you go to training, don't buy a gun. Get the training and then go get you a gun, because I've had a lot of people to show up with guns too big or too small. They don't fit their hand and they can't shoot them. And that's just one of the biggest things. Go get training, then get you a gun. Because once you get the training, you know what you're doing now. So now when you pick up a gun, you know what to feel for. This may be too big. This may be too small for my hands instead of going to buy. So that's one of the biggest things. And it doesn't matter, like you said, it does matter who you get your training from, because I see these cats on on YouTube and IG and the social media, and some of it is crazy. But I appreciate the fact you asking for, what my background is. So hopefully that gives comfort. And you need to do the same thing when you go get training. So make sure they're a reputable person. Check out their background. Try to find some references or whatever you can to make sure you're getting trained properly. As far as the timeline for the kids, I stick with 8 because that's where I started my kids. So 8 and up, at least hit them with the firearm safety. They don't have to go to the range and shoot unless you want them to. However, you want them to be familiar with firearms, because nowadays you got guns that's left everywhere. It used to be once or twice here or there. Now guns are falling. People throwing guns when they're running, and kids are just picking them up. You got ladies walking around with guns, just sitting in the purse, and the kids are digging for candy, and then bang, the gun goes off. Like, there's so much to it. Teach your kids if they can comprehend. I say start at 8 again. That's me, and at least teach your kids gun safety. And if you can't take them to a range, at least let them see, let them hear it. Because with these school shootings, they need to recognize gunshots. When if they don't recognize, they don't know what it is, they really wouldn't know what to do. So I'll go with 8 years old. and at least teach them gun safety. As they become teenagers and you feel comfortable, take them to the range. We need to learn. They need to learn. Everybody needs to survive.
Yeah, nah, man. Appreciate all that helpful information and all that knowledge you just displayed for the people. So how can people find you? How can they hire you? How can they, even ask you some questions? Drop all that information. I'll be sure to put it in the description when I drop the video.
Okay, we'll do. We'll do. You can find me on most of the social media platforms. I'm on IG. I'm on Facebook. It's all Sam J. TEP. You should get me on IG, Facebook, and I believe TikTok, and forgot the other one. I forgot the other one. My email address is training.tep@gmail.com. My website is tie-dye-protection-services.com. Phone
Okay.
number, yeah. We drop everything in like you said in the thing when we get off.
Yes, sir. I definitely got you, man. I definitely appreciate your time. Anything last minute that you got coming up you want the people to know?
Yeah, right now I'm promoting or putting out there a free class. I'm doing about 2 or 3 of them right now. My next one is next week. It's in Memphis, Tennessee. It's going to be at the Agri Center. It's going to be the 4-hour survival course, active shooter survival for the civilians, and law enforcement can show up too, like security or church security can show up too. We become a lot of medical stuff, how to react, thinking about some tactics. We're going to go over a lot of the run, hide, and fight, and then we're going to run through some scenarios. That's 4 hours. That's on the 26th of December from 4 to 8. And then on Saturday, it'll be for law enforcement and security personnel, where we'll do a day of active shooter response on how to respond, what to expect when the police show up, how to engage, how to roll as a team. So if you do sign up, I try to come in a pair, at least a pair, because that's the person you're going to be working with. And we're going to do hallway movements, door entries. We're going to do a lot of tactics, a lot of TACMED stuff. So it's going to be a good day of learning. My next one is going to be in Atlanta. It's probably going to be in February. I'm just trying to lock down a location right now. And it's going to be the same thing. 2-day class. The first one is 4 hours. Then the next class will be 8 hours. If anyone wants to host one of these courses, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I don't mind traveling to the location. Like I said, I'm going to Memphis and I got one in Atlanta. I'm trying to get one in Dallas. It's probably my next stop is either Dallas or Chicago. It's just about getting a facility that'll go with what I'm teaching.
Okay. Hey, man, I appreciate you for stopping by, dropping this knowledge, and I'll catch you on the next one, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.